Air rushed into Yunyan's windpipe, making her cough uncontrollably. "My little darling is choking. Come here, big brother will pat your back." Brother Kuin's words were lewd. He reached out, grabbed her arm, pulled her up, and made her lean against him, his large hand incessantly caressing her back. Yunyan suppressed her nausea. The lights in the room were on. As she coughed, she glimpsed Li Bai. She sat there, her clothes torn to shreds. Even though she was barely wearing them, large patches of skin were exposed, covered in red welts. Yunyan remembered the sound of the belt cracking. She inadvertently met Li Bai's gaze. Li Bai was actually glaring at her with hateful, furious eyes. Only one thought ran through Yunyan's mind: beyond saving. People like this are beyond saving. Perhaps finding Li Bai an eyesore in the room, Brother Kuin said to his two subordinates, "Aren't you taking Miss Li out yet?" The two subordinates stepped forward and pulled her up. One of them, emboldened by lust, asked, "Brother Kuin, look, can our brothers?" How could Brother Kuin care about others now? He waved his hand impatiently. "Take her out and let the brothers have some fun." "Thank you, Brother Kuin." The two subordinates were ecstatic. Li Bai reacted, scrambling forward to hug Brother Kuin's leg. "Brother Kuin, I came to you for help. I brought the person to you now, and you promised me you'd ensure my safety and take me away." Brother Kuin turned to look at her, frowning. "I promise to keep you safe, and I will. But you have to go out to sea with the brothers to leave the country. You're the only woman on the boat. Do you think you can avoid things like that? If you want to be safe and sound, then be smart and obedient." Then he raised his chin, and the two subordinates eagerly stepped forward to drag Li Bai away. Yunyan's heart was filled with dread. Li Bai was hateful, certainly, but this immediate retribution came too quickly. Howls and wails echoed outside. Brother Kuin roared, "Take her out and have your fun. Don't let them disturb my mood." Soon, Li Bai's voice was gone. Brother Kuin impatiently pushed Yunyan down. Seeing her clearly in the light, he was even more delighted, his hands unable to resist roaming over her. "She's so damn beautiful, and this figure is so damn alluring. How many men would die for you?" Also in the light, Yunyan got a clear look at Brother Kuin before her. He was probably in his 30s, looking quite robust and well-built, with a green dragon tattoo firmly on his neck. His eyes gleamed with a predatory look, like a beast spotting its prey. As expected of a Yu family's young lady, her skin is so tender you could pinch water from it. He leaned closer, and a strong smell of smoke wafted from his open mouth. "Big brother will take good care of you." Yunyan detested the smell of tobacco the most. At this very moment, she even wished she were dead. She said coldly, "I don't even know you." Brother Kuin laughed loudly upon hearing her. "Little beauty, you not knowing me doesn't stop me from wanting to have you. I've long heard of your reputation, famously seductive. Seeing you today, it's just as expected, and this scent on you." As he spoke, he lowered his head and buried his face in her neck, first taking a deep, rough sniff, then biting down hard. The pain almost made cold sweat break out on Yunyan, but she endured it, refusing to make sound. With people like him, the more noise you made, the more excited he became. So, this is the scent of a rich young lady, truly more fragrant than ordinary women. Brother Kuin looked lustful, as if he wanted to swallow her whole. "You can't touch me," Yunyan said, her voice cold. Brother Kuin chuckled. "If I want to touch you, I can touch you. Why can't I?" Yunyan didn't have much confidence when she said that. For Brother Kuin to have targeted her, he couldn't possibly be unaware of her circumstances. The fact that he knew her situation and still deliberately acted indicated that he most likely had nothing to fear. As expected, Brother Kuin chuckled sarcastically. "The Jiang family? I know the Jiang family is powerful and influential. So what? As soon as the ship arrives, you'll get in the car with me and we'll head straight for the dock. I'll have you out of the country in no time. Even if the Jiang family has extraordinary abilities, they won't be able to find you in such a short time." A chill ran through Yunyan's heart. No wonder he wasn't afraid at all. Once she was out of the country, it would be like looking for a needle in a haystack. Even with clues, they wouldn't be able to find her immediately. During that time, she would probably already have been by Brother Kuin. What to do? Brother Kuin's predatory hand reached out again. "But, little darling, we still have some time, so you have to please me first." He eagerly began to undress. Yunyan's scalp tingled. She was terribly anxious and desperately tried to move, but it was no use. When he unzipped his pants, Yunyan couldn't bear to look. How to put it? It seemed rather unremarkable. Brother Kuin saw her avert her gaze and even looked triumphant. "How about it, little darling? Scared by Big Brother's big fellow, aren't you?" Yunyan finally understood the meaning of people love to show off what they lack. When Brother Kuin pounced on her and frantically tore at her clothes, Yunyan closed her eyes. It's over. Buttons popped off. She wanted to cry, but in her heart, she was thinking, "Ayen, where are you?" No sooner had that thought crossed her mind than Yunyan vaguely seemed to hear some movement. There were sounds of fighting and men's screams. Brother Cohen, consumed by lust, was completely oblivious. He cursed, "Damn it, can't even handle one woman." He thought it was Lee by resisting. But before he could finish speaking, the door was kicked open with great force. With a bang, the entire house nearly shook. Brother Cohen, disturbed, flew into a rage. "Who the hell is disturbing me?" He abruptly cut himself off before finishing his sentence. Yunyan instinctively looked. In that moment, she felt like she was seeing a hallucination. She seemed to see Jiang Yinyan, his figure imposing and familiar. He was covered in dust from travel, and his dark, knee-length coat made his eyes seem exceptionally cold. One of Brother Kuen's subordinates lunged from behind, but old Lu, who was right behind, grabbed him, then kicked him away, and a scream was heard from the man. It was unclear if Brother Cohen hadn't expected anyone to break in, or for some other reason, but in any case, he stared at Jiang Yinyan, stunned. Even though Yunyan didn't see Brother Cohen's eyes, she could feel his fear. She saw him point at Jiang Yinyan, even stammering, "Ugh, it's you?" But the scene Jiang Yinyan saw was a shirtless man with his pants half down, lying on Yunyan, her clothes disheveled. His eyes revealed obvious killing intent, and his expression was terrifyingly grim. He strode forward, yanked the man off, then swung a powerful punch. Jiang Yinyan's strength had always been considerable, especially in a fight. Yunyan knew this best, which was why she also understood why, despite his excellent fighting skills, he still kept old Lu by his side. It wasn't that his skills were inferior to old Lu's, but that sometimes there was no need to injure someone. Brother Kuen lay on the ground, spitting out a mouthful of blood and several teeth. He didn't even have time to pull up his pants. His butt was still exposed. Jiang Yinyan took off his overcoat and draped it over Yunyan, glancing at her. Yunyan didn't know what happened, but her eyes suddenly reddened. Seeing this, Jiang Yinyan's heart was deeply shaken, like turbulent waves. He controlled his emotions, reached out to pat her head, and whispered, "It's all right now." Yunyan knew she was safe. It was precisely because she knew this that her eyes welled up. Jiang Yinyan stood up. At that moment, Yunyan looked at his profile, and her heart tightened. His profile was incredibly sharp and cold, and a chill quickly returned to the depths of his eyes. Jiang Yinyan stepped forward and yanked Brother Kuen up again. Brother Kuen, perhaps out of fear, didn't even resist, just wailed, You dare hurt me. Masterbu will never stand idly by." Jiang Yinyan, hearing this, didn't get angry but rather smiled. "Don't you think it's a bit late to bring up Masterbu now? Before you even thought of her, didn't you check whose woman she was?" Brother Kuen was instantly dumbfounded. What? Brother Kuen only knew that she was the young miss of a Yu family and the newly recognized granddaughter of the Jiang family. How did she become his woman? He suddenly remembered something he had heard people talk about before. Young Master Yan from the capital seemed to be the one who struck fear into their hearts. Connecting this to what Yunyan had just said, it turned out she had another meaning. Brother Kuen cursed inwardly. "Damn it, I've really kicked an iron plate this time. I really didn't know." "Didn't know?" Jiang Yinyan smiled coldly. "All right then, consider this a minor punishment as a warning, to make you remember." After he finished speaking, he roughly dragged him to the corner, his large hand gripping the back of the man's head, ready to smash it against the wall. Old Lu, seeing this, stopped him in time. "Young Master Yan, this is in the country." Jiang Yinyan had already exerted his strength. Although old Lu's intervention was timely, and Jiang Yinyan also slowed his force, Brother Kuen's head still hit the wall. Fortunately, he didn't use full force. But even so, the impact wasn't light. Brother Kuen was knocked dizzy and disoriented, lost his footing, and fell to the ground again. 5 minutes later, Jiang Yinyan leaned back leisurely on the sofa, his long right leg crossed over his left. His long legs, encased in suit trousers, were strong and powerful. His handsome face, yet his gaze was so coldly sharp it made people dare not meet his eyes. Yunyan leaned weakly against him, his coat still draped over her. Jiang Yinyan had one arm around her, his long fingers occasionally twirling a strand of her hair. A group of people knelt on the ground. It was Brother Kuen and his subordinates, estimated to be over 20 people. As for Jiang Yinyan, he had only brought old Lu. Just the two of them had come. Old Lu stood to the side, hands clasped behind his back, his expression grim and cold. It was unclear if it was intentional, but Jiang Yinyan had old Lu give Brother Kuen a piece of clothing to cover himself. But it was just a top, no pants. Brother Kuen had been so terrified when he hit his head that he lost control of his bladder, so he had simply been stripped. Jiang Yinyan even said kindly to old Lu, "We should at least find Brother Kuen some clothes, shouldn't we? Otherwise, his subordinates will laugh at him, won't they?" Yes, they found a piece of clothing, a vest. After Brother Kuen put it on, the lower half of him was still exposed. Old Lu feigned apology. My apologies, I couldn't find any clean pants. At this moment, Brother Kuin knelt there, half naked, only able to desperately tug at the hem of the vest to cover his shame. But no matter how much he tugged, his condition was still clearly visible. Jiang Yinyan sneered, well, it can cover it. To be covered by just a vest, huh? On the other side, Li Bai was slumped there. After old Lu entered the room, he went in first and saw several men molesting her. He initially thought it was Yinyan and was scared out of his wits, but when she was rescued, he saw it was Li Bai. Li Bai was tortured beyond recognition. Her clothes were long gone, her hair disheveled, her body covered in bruises, and there were also belt marks left by Brother Kuin. Old Lu found a piece of clothing and threw it to her, which was considered his last act of chivalry. But in reality, Li Bai was the main culprit, and such a person receiving their comeuppance wasn't a pity. Brother Kuin painstakingly crawled forward on his knees, begging Jiang Yinyan, Jean. No sooner had he uttered that word than Jiang Yinyan's gaze turned grim and cold. Seeing this, Brother Kuin quickly changed his tune. Why, young Master Yin, believe me, I really didn't know she was your woman. If I had known even a little, I wouldn't have dared. At this point, he pointed at Li Bai. It was all her. She didn't tell me this at all. She just told me she could get the young miss of the Yu family here. Yun Yin was in Jiang Yinyan's arms, listening to his steady, powerful heartbeat. But at the same time, she heard Brother Kuin say a word, that word. She recalled carefully. It sounded familiar. A scene suddenly came to mind. It was in a place called Fengyao, where someone had also said this word after seeing Jiang Yinyan, and their expression then was the same as Brother Kuin's. Fear. As if seeing Yama, the king of hell. It must be a name, but no one dared to say the full title. Yun Yin began to trace the timeline. He came to the Yu family when he was 15, then grew up to adulthood in the Yu family. Later, he left the Yu family, and several years passed before he returned to the Jiang family. That terrifying name most likely referred to his achievements after leaving the Yu family. What exactly had he gone through? Jiang Yinyan sneered, asking Brother Kuin. Why specifically Yun Yin? Brother Kuin was at a loss for how to answer. Old Lu shouted coldly from his side. He's asking you a question. Brother Kuin shuddered and quickly said, I've always yearned for miss you. He cautiously looked at Jiang Yinyan, seeing his gaze like an awl, and quickly begged for mercy again. I was blind. I was a toad, wanted to eat swan meat. Please, young Master Yin, spare me. I swear I'll leave immediately and never set foot here again. When's the ship? Jiang Yinyan asked casually. Brother Kuin stammered. This time, old Lu answered for him. The ship will arrive at the dock after dawn and stay until nightfall. If I'm not mistaken, you'll have to leave here by dawn at the latest, then rush to the dock, right? Seeing that he couldn't hide it, Brother Kuin could only nod. Jiang Yinyan hummed an acknowledgement, looked up at the time, and said plenty of time. Brother Kuin didn't understand, but he felt a vague unease. Jiang Yinyan's gaze fell upon his face. He scrutinized him up and down, making Brother Kuin very uncomfortable. Jiang Yinyan then said with a laugh, I heard you have a special fetish. Brother Kuin was at a loss for how to respond. Jiang Yinyan continued, a leader attracts subordinates of the same kind. Presumably your subordinates are also like you, with unique tastes. Why, young Master Yin? Jiang Yinyan asked those subordinates, have any of you served your Brother Kuin? The subordinates had been beaten badly. Hearing this, they suddenly understood the meaning, and each turned pale with shock, wincing from their wounds and grimacing. Brother Kuin also instantly understood. His terror was no less than Li Bai's earlier. Young Master Yin, I beg you, please spare me. However, Jiang Yinyan didn't even look at him, his gaze remaining cold and grim as he still addressed the group of subordinates. What? Does making you serve Brother Kuin offend you? None of the subordinates dared to make sound. Jiang Yinyan couldn't be bothered to say more. He instructed old Lu, then watch them, and make them properly serve Brother Kuin. Anyone who can't do it, cripple them on the spot. They're useless otherwise. Jiang Yinyan wasn't interested in watching the following scene. He lowered his head slightly to look at Yun Yin. Let's go back to the car. It's an eyesore. Yun Yin hummed in agreement. Still feeling utterly weak, she could only let Jiang Yinyan carry her. Brother Kuin was still prostrate, begging for mercy, when old Lu kicked him in the rear. If you don't want to be in the living room, get into the bedroom. What are you yelling about? Li Bai was also begging for mercy. She hadn't dared to make a sound the entire time, yet she was the one most terrified. She stumbled forward, falling to her knees before Jiang Yinyan, weeping bitterly. Young Master Yin, I know I made a mistake, and this time I made a huge one. But I had no choice. Mr. Wang won't let me off, and I can't stay here. Please be merciful and give me a way out. Jiang Yinyan looked down at Li Bai from above. His expressionless face made him appear grim and heartless. He said, Director Li, Jiang here doesn't understand your words. Is your way out something I should provide? Did I make things difficult for you? Li Bai, of course, heard the displeasure in Jiang Yinyan's tone and repeatedly showed weakness, begging for mercy. I know, young master, Yin is magnanimous and won't make things difficult for a woman. I know my request is wishful thinking, but I still hope young master Yin can take me away from here. Please, I beg you, help me this one time, and I'll gladly work like a dog for you. Jiang Yinyan lowered his gaze. His eyes, however, settled on Yinyan's face, and he whispered with a smile, "Look at how others beg me, then look at you." Yinyan turned her face away, refusing to look at him. Jiang Yinyan's lips twitched slightly. Li Bai was a shrewd one, and at this moment, she naturally had to seize the opportunity. Seeing that Jiang Yinyan was unmoved, she grabbed Yinyan's clothes and pleaded with her instead. "It's my fault. I shouldn't have targeted you. Miss you, we're both women. Please help me." Jiang Yinyan frowned. He barked, "Old Lu." Old Lu immediately stepped forward and pulled Li Bai away. Jiang Yinyan said indifferently, "I see you're quite good at paving your own way, and you're unscrupulous about it. For someone like you, I believe you can survive without anyone's help." With that, he carried Yunyan and left. "Young Master Yen," Li Bai cried hysterically behind them. Old Lu watched all of this with cold eyes. Then his gaze fell on his subordinates nearby, and he shouted, "What are you waiting for?" Each of the subordinates had suffered losses and knew Old Lu was highly skilled. To survive, they had no choice but to hesitantly approach Brother Cohen. "What are you doing? Do you all want to die, huh? Let go. Don't you dare touch me." Back in the car, Yunyan finally noticed her surroundings. It seemed to be a remote suburb. The area was quite desolate. Not far away was a standalone two-story house. Not quite a villa, at most the kind of two-story home villagers used to build themselves. It seemed this was their usual gathering spot. From here, they could quickly leave Beicheng by heading straight to the highway. And then what? Head to the dock and leave the country by water. Although the journey wasn't short, it was a familiar route for those people. What happened? Jiang Yinyan finally found the time to ask her. As he spoke, he raised a hand to touch her. Yinyan said, "What they gave me wasn't an aphrodisiac, I don't know what it was. My mind was very clear, but my whole body was soft and couldn't move." She spoke with little strength, her breath unsteady. Jiang Yinyan frowned slightly. It was probably some kind of muscle relaxant. Li Bai knew Brother Cohen's preferences, so she gave me this drug, Yunyan said. "He touched you?" "No," Yunyan said. Jiang Yinyan sneered. "Him? That little thing touching you? He'd really have some nerve." "What do you mean? You hoped I'd be touched?" Yunyan didn't know why, but her emotions flared up with resentment. Jiang Yinyan froze, not expecting her to retort with such a remark. After a long moment, he said, "That's not what I meant. If he dared to touch you, I'd cripple him." Yunyan thought, "It's probably no different from crippling him now anyway." "How did you find me?" Yunyan also felt her emotions were inexplicable. Perhaps it was due to the near-death experience, causing her feelings to fluctuate wildly. Jiang Yinyan looked at her, his eyes unusual. "I'm asking you a question," Yunyan said, finding his expression strange. Jiang Yinyan didn't speak. Instead, he reached out towards her face. Yunyan was at a loss and tried to dodge, but couldn't. The man's slender fingers landed on her earlobe. Then he actually removed her earring. "You," Yunyan was surprised, but immediately realized a tracker. Jiang Yinyan didn't hide it. "Yes." Yunyan's eyes widened, looking at the tiny earring in his hand, hardly believing what she was seeing. Jiang Yinyan destroyed the earring in front of her and threw it away. Since she knew about it, she wouldn't wear this earring again. Yunyan had certain habits. Even though she no longer had the status of a Yu family heiress, and even with the Yu family's decline, she might no longer wear expensive jewelry when going out, but she always had some form of adornment. It was a habit ingrained in her bones. Sometimes it was a bracelet, sometimes a necklace, sometimes earrings. This provided Jiang Yinyan with an easy opportunity. Failing that, there were still accessories like brooches. Yunyan didn't expect him to do this, and she became agitated. "How dare you do that? If I didn't do that, how would I have found you tonight?" Jiang Yinyan frowned. "You should be grateful. Otherwise, by this time tomorrow, you'd have been taken out of the country. Don't you realize what kind of situation you'd be facing then?" Yunyan was left speechless. Yes, she was very glad she wore that thing today. After a moment, she asked, "Where else have you put these things?" Jiang Yinyan smiled. "Can't tell you." "You?" Jiang Yinyan looked at her playfully. "Unless you go out naked." Yunyan glared at him, furious. If only she could move, she'd get out of the car and leave. But in a place like this, she no longer dwelled on the tracker issue. For someone like Jiang Yinyan, using a tracker was probably the simplest thing. He had Old Lu, and Old Lu had extensive connections. Investigating someone wouldn't be difficult. Who exactly are those people inside? Yunyan asked the crucial question. Jiang Yinyan fell silent. Yunyan watched him, momentarily thinking he wouldn't say. But then he spoke. "They're from Southeast Asia. They work for an organization. They're not local residents, so they act without considering the consequences. He spoke vaguely, but Yunyan's heart grew cold. Is it that master that Brother Kuan mentioned? Is he a ruthless figure from over there? Jiang Yunyan glanced at her, smiling somewhat helplessly. Your ears are sharp enough. Then he confirmed, yes, Master Bu is the head of that organization, a ruthless figure from Southeast Asia. What organization? Yunyan pressed. Jiang Yunyan raised a hand and gently pinched her face. Some things are not for you to know, so don't ask what you shouldn't. The less you know, the better for your survival. But because of this, you've offended that ruthless character, haven't you? Yunyan thought of the key point. Brother Kuan's status didn't seem low at first glance. He had quite a few subordinates and spoke arrogantly, not even putting the Beijing circle in his eyes. It was clear he was someone Master Bu valued highly. For such an important person to be tormented by Jiang Yunyan tonight, it would be strange if it didn't create enmity. Jiang Yunyan looked at her with a half-smile. Are you worried about me? I'm serious. Yunyan stared at him. Jiang Yunyan pursed his lips slightly, his handsome face moving closer to her. Yunyan's breath hitched. What are you doing? Jiang Yunyan's eyes twinkled with a smile, his thin lips lightly brushing her cheek, slowly tracing, then gliding to her ear. Won't you say you're worried about me? Yunyan's heart raced. She tried her best to control her breathing. Jiang Yunyan, stop fooling around. Fooling around about what? Jiang Yunyan's lips moved lower, gently nipping her earlobe. She felt her scalp tingle. Jiang Yunyan, you still haven't answered me. Jiang Yunyan moved his face away slightly, looking at her in the dim light. After a long pause, he finally spoke. I've had grievances with them for a long time. This one incident won't make much difference. Because you've been over there too, right? Yunyan asked, hitting the nail on the head. The smile in Jiang Yunyan's eyes gradually faded. He stared at her for a long time. Then his imposing body moved back. When he spoke again, his tone was very faint. Yunyan, I just said, don't ask about things you shouldn't know. If you want to live well, the less you know, the better. Yunyan looked at his profile, sharp as a knife, the increasingly angular lines making him seem more unapproachable. She hesitated. Jiang Yunyan turned to look at her. Yunyan took a deep breath. I just want to know what my father did back then. Why did you so resolutely leave the Yu family? Where did you go after leaving the Yu family? How did it take several years before you returned to the Jiang family? She couldn't find anything about these things. To be precise, no matter how much she investigated her father, Yui Yuan, no matter how many professionals she hired, everything they found was already public knowledge. She had secretly hired people to investigate, and even Yu Wanzhou found out about her investigating her father. He was surprised and asked her, what do you suspect father of? He's been by your side since you were little. Don't you know what kind of person father is? You once said he killed a child. Who is it? Yunyan pressed. A chill slowly gathered in Jiang Yunyan's eyes, making Yunyan shiver. It seemed like a long time since she had seen him like this. Only when mentioning the past, mentioning things he didn't want to recall, would he wear such an expression. He looked at her. Do you dare to hear it? Yunyan, what your father did and what I experienced are beyond the imagination of someone like you who grew up with a silver spoon in their mouth. Yes, I can't choose my birth, but I have the right to know the truth. Yunyan met his gaze completely unafraid. Jiang Yunyan smiled, but it was a bitter smile. Looking closely, it seemed to carry a hint of sorrow. Yunyan's heart tightened. How could this be? Jiang Yunyan's words left Yunyan stunned for a long time. She murmured, no, my mother. She wasn't crazy. She didn't go crazy. The smile in Jiang Yunyan's eyes was faint and cold. Some madness isn't hysteria. When a person's heart dies, they're truly driven to madness. What exactly do you mean? Yunyan stared at him. Jiang Yunyan's lips curved slightly, this time with less coldness. His large hand reached out, gently caressing her face. My meaning is simple. When I want to cherish you, don't think about asking so many questions. I've said before, once you get to the bottom of some things, your peaceful days will be over. Even he was startled after saying those words. So, it was no wonder Yunyan also found it incredible. She looked at him and asked, isn't this what you wanted? If you wanted me to live a peaceful life, why did you push me so hard back then? Annoyance crept into Jiang Yunyan's eyes and brows. Yes, if he wanted her to live a peaceful life, after knowing about Yu Zhuanzhou's accident, he should have quietly resolved Zhang Xuanwen's difficulties behind the scenes and never shown his face to Yunyan. Back then, knowing she was seeking help, knowing she was in trouble, he agreed to meet without even thinking. At that moment, he thought, Yu Yuan, your daughter is now in my hands. He wanted to torment her, to make her life even more difficult, to let her know that the Yu family was not a virtuous household, and to shatter all her beautiful dreams. But to this day, Jiang Yunyan hadn't revealed what happened back then. Now, he was increasingly harboring a thought, a terrifying thought. Just like this, Their relationship, continuing as it was, seemed quite good. This idea had been surging strongly recently. So Jiang Yinyan himself was shocked. He couldn't answer Yunyan's question, yet he didn't want anything to disturb their current peace. Seeing Yunyan still staring at him, her gaze like a drill, made Jiang Yinyan very uncomfortable. He wanted control. He wanted her gaze to soften, to hear her beg for mercy, to see her show weakness. Jiang Yinyan's eyes darkened, and he turned to look at her. Yunyan saw the change in his gaze. It looked profound and deep, and her heart skipped a beat. Jiang Yinyan leaned in, his slender fingers resting by her ear, the man's heavy breath falling on her cheek. He chuckled softly, a hint of impropriety in his voice. Can't move. Yunyan understood his tone, her scalp suddenly tingling, and she panicked. Jiang Yinyan, you can't do this. His lips drew slightly closer to hers. You're mine. Why can't I do as I please? Don't. Yunyan regretted it. She shouldn't have pressed him with questions, shouldn't have driven him into a corner. Clearly, this was a spur-of-the-moment impulse, not something he had intended from the start. More like an escape, but not in this place. However, how could she stop Jiang Yinyan's surging passion? She watched him raise the soundproof partition and lower the privacy curtain. Yunyan leaned back in the rear seat, unable to move, and could only watch helplessly as he did as he pleased. Jiang Yinyan, she whimpered. Jiang Yinyan slowly unbuckled his belt, leaned closer to her, and chuckled. You can scream all you want. Don't. Jiang Yinyan pressed his face down, sealing her lips, consuming all her protests and reluctance. Her clothes were completely removed. Although Brother Kuan hadn't succeeded, he had left some marks on her body. Jiang Yinyan saw the marks on her body, and his face turned ashen. Yunyan seemed to see murderous intent in his eyes again. Jiang Yinyan scrutinized her in the dim light. She sat there naked, submitting to his gaze. At this moment, she felt deeply humiliated. Jiang Yinyan made a call, and at the same time, his slender fingers covered the red mark on her chest, gently caressing it. Yunyan felt cold. The car was clearly warm with plenty of heat, but she still felt a chill. The call connected. Young Master Yen. Yunyan could hear Brother Kuan's wailing and the heavy breathing of his subordinates through the phone. Although she didn't pity Brother Kuan, hearing this scene still sent a chill down her spine, and she instinctively looked at Jiang Yinyan's face. The curve of his cheekbones was sharp and covered with a frosty expression. He looked even more terrifying. After you're done, teach him a lesson. He touched something he shouldn't have. Don't let him have the chance to touch anything again, Jiang Yinyan commanded lightly. Yes. Yunyan's breathing quickened. She was wondering if one day she also offended Jiang Yinyan and he decided to strike a fatal blow. She dared not imagine. Indeed, even the gentlest tiger is still a tiger. It won't turn into a cat. Jiang Yinyan tossed the phone aside. His imposing figure leaned in, his face close, softly declaring his sovereignty. Yunyan, you are mine. Yuanzhou canceled all his engagements. He didn't know why, but his mood was very low. Before it was unease. After learning that Yunyan was with Jiang Yinyan, the unease turned into irritation. He inexplicably drove his car to the magazine office building. Even he didn't realize it until he had stopped the car. He didn't call Xiao Min, nor did he go upstairs. The upstairs was brightly lit. This was normal for a magazine company. Many celebrities who came for photo shoots were on tight schedules. Lesser-known celebrities accommodated the magazine schedule, while the magazine accommodated the big stars. Yuanzhou parked his car on the service road and turned off the engine. After a long time, he lowered the window and lit a cigarette. He smoked it unhurriedly. He looked up. He wondered if Xiao Min had finished overtime so late, and if she had eaten. He didn't know how much time had passed, but in any case, after finishing his cigarette, Yuanzhou suddenly saw Xiao Min. Xiao Min wasn't dressed very warmly, wearing a moonlight white new Chinese-style jacket paired with a light coffee-colored skirt, her hair simply tied up. In such a night, she looked as pure as a streak of moonlight. Yuanzhou felt an impulse to get out of the car and find her. So, that impulse turned into action. He got out of the car, casually taking his jacket with him. Xiao Min was dressed lightly. She probably came downstairs to buy a coffee or cake. At this hour, she likely had dismissed her assistant. Thinking this, Yuanzhou felt that while she was truly smart, she could also be genuinely foolish. Who works overtime by themselves after sending their assistant home? Indeed, she had gone to buy coffee. Inside the clear glass door, soft light enveloped her, making her skin appear soft and fair. The barista was very attentive. This made Yuanzhou rather displeased. But the moment he saw Xiao Min, the irritation in his heart inexplicably vanished. Yuanzhou quickened his steps to cross the street, but the next second he suddenly stopped. A man appeared beside Xiao Min. It seemed he had been waiting in the coffee shop. He stood up and approached Xiao Min after seeing her. Yuanzhou squinted slightly. The man looked familiar. Was it that lawyer? Yu Zhuanzhou's expression grew cold and serious. Perhaps Xiao Min hadn't expected to meet him in the coffee shop. She was slightly surprised, but soon the two were chatting. Xiao Min had a smile on her face. Although it was polite, it still made Yu Wanzhou quite annoyed. Yu Wanzhou stood there, staring towards the coffee shop, the coat he intended to put on Xiao Min still draped over his arm. The cold wind was biting, but his eyes were blazing with fury. Yu Wanzhou pursed his lips and walked toward the coffee shop. Meanwhile, Xiao Min was contemplating whether to invite Xiao Shun for a meal, especially after learning that he was actually waiting for her in the coffee shop. Xiao Min didn't actually dislike Xiao Shun. As she had told Yin, he was an excellent person, and they were both single, so he seemed like someone she could consider. But to say Xiao Min felt deep affection for him would be an exaggeration. She believed love was a luxury, not something everyone could have. Honestly, on such a cold winter night, when she was so frustrated from working overtime that she could only go downstairs for a breath of fresh air under the pretext of buying coffee, Xiao Shun's sudden appearance beside her truly made her heart stir. The stirring was more a subtle warmth, making her feel as though she wasn't so alone. Xiao Shun was very much a gentleman. Noticing the fatigue in her eyes and brows, he gently said, "Don't bother thinking about inviting me to dinner. What time do you finish? I'll wait for you and take you home." "No need," Xiao Min said, not wanting to trouble him, especially this late. "I drove. If you take me back, I'll have to take a taxi back to the office tomorrow morning for work." Xiao Shin smiled faintly. "That's easy then. I'll pick you up again tomorrow morning." "Seriously, no need," Xiao Min said sincerely. "My home is quite close. It wouldn't even be worth the gas money for you to drive there. Xiao Min." A man's voice interrupted their conversation. Xiao Min turned her head and froze. Xiao Min got into Yu Zhuanzhou's car. Before getting in, she repeatedly thanked Xiao Shun and promised to treat him to a meal sometime. Xiao Shun, being a lawyer, naturally could discern things. He asked Xiao Min with a wry smile, "Do you like him?" At this moment, Xiao Min suddenly felt that she couldn't treat Xiao Shun this way. She nodded slightly. "Yes, I do. So I'm sorry." Xiao Shun left. Before leaving, he sighed and said, "In relationships, there's no such thing as one person owing another an apology, Xiao Min. I like you, so as long as you're not married, I still have a chance." After getting into the car, Xiao Shun's words kept replaying in Xiao Min's mind, leaving her in a daze. Marry? Although she was no longer a naive girl, she had also experienced the harsh realities of life. How easy was it to find a suitable partner whom both liked? Yuan Zhou took the coffee from her hand. She was startled and turned to look at him. "Have you eaten?" he asked directly. Xiao Min glanced at the time. "I had something to eat around 3 in the afternoon." As she spoke, she reached out to take the coffee from his hand. Yuan Zhou didn't give it back to her. "You ate around 3 in the afternoon. What time is it now? Drinking coffee so late, don't you plan on sleeping?" Xiao Min said, "Coffee poses no threat to me at all." "It's bad for your stomach," Yuan Zhou said, and without hesitation, he tilted his head back and drank her coffee. "Hey you." Xiao Min watched helplessly as he gulped down the coffee in a few sips, leaving only an empty cup. "That's way too far, Yuan Zhou. That was my coffee." Xiao Shin bought it. Yuan Zhou asked with a half-smile. Xiao Min, yes. "So what if I drank it?" Yuan Zhou was deliberately provoking her. Yuan Zhou didn't say anything. He got out of the car, went around to the trunk, pulled out an insulated bag, got back in, and handed it to Xiao Min. Xiao Min took it, opened it, and was taken aback. "You always eat sparingly at night to stay pretty. These are all small portions, so go ahead and eat." After learning Xiao Min was still working overtime, Yuan Zhou had gone to her favorite restaurant before coming, ordering small portions of her favorite dishes to bring along. In truth, he hadn't even decided whether to go upstairs or not once he arrived. Meeting her like this tonight was entirely unexpected. Xiao Min looked at the individual containers in the insulated bag, surprised. "You didn't just order a little, did you? They're all your favorites." Xiao Min, confused, asked, "Did you come just to deliver food?" Yuan Zhou thought for a moment. "Not exactly." Then, Yuan Zhou didn't start the car. Leaning back, he said, "I just feel a bit tired." He reached out and helped her open one of the takeout containers. "Eat quickly before it gets cold." Xiao Min hadn't actually planned on eating dinner. It was already so late. When would she possibly digest it? But Yuan Zhou truly knew her preferences too well. Everything was exactly what she loved, so she couldn't resist. "If you're tired, you should go home and rest early. Why go completely out of your way?" Xiao Min broke open her chopsticks and remarked. She then asked him, "What about you? Have you eaten?" Yuan Zhou wasn't hungry and didn't have much of an appetite, so he just let her eat. Xiao Min didn't stand on ceremony either. "I don't know what's wrong tonight. Nothing feels right," Yuan Zhou said. Xiao Min remembered his earlier call, lowering her eyes. "About your sister?" Yuan Zhou thought for a moment. "I suppose so. She's with Jiang Yinyan." Xiao Min let out a soft, "Oh." as if understanding. Seeing she didn't continue, Yuanzhou turned to look at her. Don't you want to say something? Say what? They can't be together, Yuanzhou said, frowning. Xiaomin's movement of picking up food faltered for a moment. She turned to meet his gaze. Then will you stop them? Yuanzhou froze. If you can't stop them, then you have to respect your sister's decision. Xiaomin sighed softly. Besides, who told you they were together? They aren't suited for each other. As she spoke these words, Xiaomin actually felt a touch of uncertainty. Were Jiang Yinyan and Yun Yin truly suited for each other? If someone had asked Xiaomin a long time ago, she would have found it laughable. A rich young lady and a personal bodyguard, together? But now, leaving aside Jiang Yinyan's family background for a moment, just considering his unpredictable and unfathomable temperament and actions, Xiaomin couldn't be sure what he might do if he ever lost control. It was likely that the more people tried to sway him, the more he would stubbornly do the opposite, just for spite. This was what Xiaomin most feared. Yuanzhou fell silent. After a moment, seeing that Xiaomin was almost done with her current box, he naturally opened another one for her. All right, then let's talk about you. Me? Xiaomin asked, surprised. Talk about what? Weren't they just talking about Yin Yan? Had he just moved on? Xiaomin had been preparing a lengthy argument to persuade him. That lawyer, Yuanzhou said, a slight frown on his brow. Is he bothering you? No, Xiaomin quickly replied. Lawyer Qiao is a very nice person. He wasn't bothering me or following me. He'd simply asked me out for dinner tonight, and I'd put him off because of work. I didn't expect him to wait in the coffee shop for so long. As she said this, she felt a little guilty towards Lawyer Qiao. Yuanzhou felt a strange discomfort in his heart upon hearing her words. How to describe this discomfort? It was more agitating and irritating than knowing Yun Yin was with Jiang Yinyan. You think he's a good person? Xiaomin hummed in affirmation. Yuanzhou felt even more uneasy. You're not thinking of trying things out with him, are you? Xiaomin didn't look at him, slowly chewing her food. After a moment, she said, Lawyer Qiao is quite suitable to be a husband. He had a respectable job, excellent personal qualities, and was gentle and refined in his words and actions. Ever since their blind date, her mother hadn't stopped talking about Lawyer Qiao to her. More importantly, Lawyer Qiao had even paid a personal visit, charming her parents and leaving them quite pleased. He was quite accomplished, so he surely had many admirers. Upon hearing this, Yuanzhou felt a suffocating pressure in his chest for a long time, as if a breath was caught, unable to go up or down, making him incredibly uncomfortable. He said, Lawyers are full of cunning. Aren't you afraid of being taken advantage of? Xiaomin was amused by his words. She looked up at him. Well, businessmen are even more cunning than lawyers. No honest man makes money, as they say. You think I'm cunning? Yuanzhou asked, frowning at her, obvious displeasure in the depths of his eyes. Or have I ever played tricks on you? Don't you know what kind of person I've been since we were kids? Xiaomin closed the container, took a few sips of water, pulled a tissue from the car to wipe her mouth, then rummaged in the takeout bag for a mint. She unhurriedly tore open the transparent wrapper of the mint and popped the candy into her mouth. Only after doing all this did she look up at Yuanzhou and ask, What are you so indignant about? Yuanzhou paused, then after a long moment, uttered, Huh? What kind of person Lawyer Qiao is, how shrewd he might be, whether I'd be taken advantage of if I were with him. All of these are my concerns, Xiaomin sighed softly. I wasn't trying to compare him to you. Yuanzhou was displeased. Why can't you compare me to him? Why do you want to compare yourself to him? Xiaomin retorted. Yuanzhou was left speechless by her question. If you see me as an older sister, then there's no need for you to worry so much. I have eyes, and I have my own standards of judgment. I can tell what kind of person Lawyer Qiao is, and whether he's suitable for me, Xiaomin said, mincing no words. But you keep wanting to take responsibility for that night. There's really no need. I told you, I was willing that night. I don't regret it, and I don't want anything from you. We're both adults. There's no need to dwell on such things. Yuanzhou looked somewhat discomfited. In truth, Xiaomin had always been acutely perceptive. He very much wanted to take responsibility for Xiaomin, but at the same time, he couldn't bring himself to make a definitive decision. He wasn't sure what he truly felt, fearing that a moment of impulsive passion would lead to an irrational decision, and ultimately, Xiaomin would be the one hurt. The car fell silent for a moment. Xiaomin's phone rang. It was one of her staff, reporting on work progress. After listening, Xiaomin told them to go home. Yuanzhou turned to look at her. I'll drive you home. No. It's so late. I won't feel at ease, Yuanzhou said, a hint of impatience in his voice. Xiaomin knew he could be quite childish sometimes, so she nodded. She was about to go upstairs to get her things. Yuanzhou handed her his jacket, but just as she reached for it, he changed his mind and got out of the car himself. She looked bewildered. Yuanzhou draped the jacket over her, wrapping it tightly. I'm afraid you'll go back on your word and just rush back to work once you get inside the magazine office. Then why are you? I'll go up with you, and we'll leave as soon as you get your things. Isn't that a bit much? Xiaomin felt it was overly dramatic. Yuanzhou looked at her. When it comes to you, I know you pretty well. Xiaomin froze for a moment. Better than that lawyer does, Yuanzhou added, a hint of exasperation in his voice. Xiaomin smiled faintly. Yunyan was drenched in a fragrant sweat. She felt pinned to the car's seat, unable to move, only able to undulate with the man's wild movements, until her entire body trembled. The man, mesmerized, gently stroked her skin, flushed pink from passion, like white jade, faintly blushed, a rare treasure in the world. Jiang Yinyan clung to her red lips, seductively whispering, "Say your mind." Yunyan's voice was hoarse from crying out during their impassioned lovemaking. Forced by him to say it, she spoke softly, her throat aching slightly. Her voice was tiny, like a kitten's. Jiang Yinyan pressed down, successfully drawing a startled gasp from her, his eyes full of keen interest. "I didn't quite hear you." Yunyan, breathless, could only manage, "I'm yours." A little louder than before. "Say it again," Jiang Yinyan commanded in a low voice, desire flooding his eyes as he stared at her cheek. Yunyan repeated it once more. Her voice was small, soft, and cotton-like from exhaustion. Jiang Yinyan felt a surge of emotion deep within him, compelling him to lose all self-control. He gripped her slender waist, wishing he could just swallow her whole. Yunyan couldn't help but let out a startled cry, but the next moment, Jiang Yinyan leaned down and sealed her lips. She didn't know how much more time passed. Yunyan felt she was close to suffocating before she finally heard Jiang Yinyan let out a muffled groan, then bite her lip once more. Yunyan felt she was barely herself anymore. Her entire body was trembling violently. Jiang Yinyan felt it distinctly and turned his head to kiss her cheek. Compared to the tempestuous intensity before, he was much gentler afterward. But Yunyan knew him well. His kisses would soon ignite her desire once more. She pleaded in a low murmur, "Not again." After saying it, she felt her face flush with embarrassment. Jiang Yinyan chuckled softly. Perhaps considering they were outside, he let her off the hook. After withdrawing, he cleaned her up. Seeing her limp, boneless state, Jiang Yinyan's eyes darkened again. Yunyan was utterly exhausted, collapsing onto the back seat, covered by Jiang Yinyan's jacket. Before closing her eyes, she wondered if old Lu had been waiting outside for a long time. What was she to do? This was truly too embarrassing. Old Lu had indeed been standing outside for quite some time, but he hadn't approached the car. Having personally overseen things inside, he understood immediately upon exiting the courtyard gate and seeing the car rocking beneath the trees. He chose to wait a little further away. When Jiang Yinyan got out of the car, old Lu was spraying something on himself, his arms waving frantically, almost hitting Jiang Yinyan. He swiftly dodged old Lu's arm. Smoking. Old Lu knew Jiang Yinyan was approaching, which was why he was so eager to get rid of the cigarette smell. He chuckled. "Couldn't help myself, could I? And I didn't want the smell to linger on me." He then raised his sleeve and sniffed. "This stuff seems pretty effective. I don't smell any smoke on me now." It was a spray designed to quickly neutralize cigarette odor. Jiang Yinyan took it, glanced at it, then tossed it back to old Lu. In private, especially in this setting, the two shed their usual formality, so old Lu spoke more casually. "Want one?" Old Lu asked Jiang Yinyan. Jiang Yinyan replied, "No, thanks." "It really works, though," old Lu said. Old Lu chuckled. "Aren't you afraid your cigarette craving will act up? You used to go through a pack a day, and now you say you'll stop and you just stop. It must be hard." Jiang Yinyan stubbornly insisted. "I just don't have time to smoke. Besides, I haven't quit. I still smoke occasionally." He then asked old Lu, "What's the situation inside?" Old Lu laughed. "However, he usually tortures people. That's how he's being tortured today. But 20 people in Sha, rotating in, didn't take as long as you did." The last sentence sounded like a joke. Jiang Yinyan shot him a glance. Old Lu immediately explained, "No, young Master Yin, you know our car is heavy enough." It was shaking quite a bit. It was hard not to see. Jiang Yinyan frowned. "Is the cigarette smell gone? If it's gone, let's leave." "Yes, young Master Yin." Old Lu distinctly caught a hint of unease in Jiang Yinyan's eyes and suppressed a laugh. As they walked towards the car, old Lu said, "Akuan won't let this go after what he suffered today. This matter is sure to alarm Grandpa Bu, so you need to be mentally prepared." "I know," Jiang Yinyan said calmly. Old Lu thought for a moment and said, "You used to be covered in armor with no weak spots, hard for anyone to manipulate. Now," Jiang Yinyan turned his head to look at him. Old Lu immediately changed his words. "My meaning is, now that Miss Yu is by your side, even if it's for the sake of the Jiang family's reputation, you can't let anything happen to Miss Yu. This could become a burden." Jiang Yinyan sneered. "I try to maintain a live and let live policy with Grandpa Bu. This time, his subordinate was foolish, and I taught him a lesson on his behalf." Does he still have a legitimate reason to complain? I imagine his subordinate has made him lose face completely. Aren't you afraid he'll bite back? Then let him bring it on. Jiang Yinyan's eyes were cold. Back in the car, Yinyan was already fast asleep. She was either exhausted from being tormented or finally felt safe, but in any case, she slept very soundly. Old Liu expected Jiang Yinyan to sit in the front passenger seat, but he still went to the back, gently lifting Yunyan's head to let her rest it on his lap. She gave a soft moan, leaning against him with the inertia of the car. Her head rested against his lower abdomen. Jiang Yinyan felt a fire begin to spread again. Although the car was spacious enough, it still had its limitations, so he couldn't fully release his desires. Besides, that one time, just now, was more like an appetizer, barely enough to scratch an itch. In the dim car interior, Jiang Yinyan lowered his head to look at the woman in his arms. She was sleeping peacefully, a stark contrast to her previous panic and terror. This gave Jiang Yinyan a strange sense of accomplishment, as if she could only be so safe in his world. He couldn't help but raise a hand to gently stroke her face. It was so soft, warm, still carrying the faint blush from their recent passion. She was draped in his jacket, and beneath it was her exquisitely proportioned body. It tempted him like a siren's lair, making him lose self-control. He had tasted her beauty, and now he could never give her up. Xiao Min returned to the office to retrieve something, so she didn't keep Yuanzhou waiting long. She grabbed her things and came out. It was already late, and most of the people in the office had already left. Unexpectedly, when she reached the elevator lobby, she found all the elevators were out of order. Xiao Min was surprised. She had never seen such a situation. She called property management, and the duty officer said that several elevators had just experienced a circuit fault, and a repairman was on his way to the office building. Xiao Min sighed. I've lived long enough to see everything. I've seen one elevator break down, but never all of them at once. Let's take the stairs, Yuanzhou suggested. They couldn't just wait there indefinitely for the elevators to be fixed, especially with no clear idea of the situation. So, taking the stairs was their only option. Xiao Min thought about it. Over 20 floors. Her head already hurt just thinking about it. The stairwell was quiet. It was late at night, and not just the office, but the entire office building was almost empty. Previously, when Xiao Min worked late into the night, she always took the elevator and didn't notice anything. Now, walking down the stairs, circle after circle, her high heels echoed, making it sound eerie. She tried to lighten her steps. Yuanzhou walked ahead, tall and sturdy, waiting for her at each turn of the landing. After a while, she didn't know which floor they were on, but the sound-activated lights stopped working. No matter how Xiao Min stomped her feet or clapped her hands, they wouldn't light up. Yuanzhou went ahead to scout, offering to steady Xiao Min when necessary. Few people usually use the stairs, and if they do, it's during the day. So, when the lights broke, no one noticed or fixed them promptly, Yuanzhou said. Xiao Min hummed in agreement. Gradually, her eyes adjusted, and some moonlight streamed in through the windows. Seeing Yuanzhou stop and start, Xiao Min said, "You don't have to wait for me. I'll walk slowly in high heels, you go ahead." Although Yuanzhou hummed in response, he didn't just walk ahead without concern. One floor might have been a mezzanine, so there were no windows in the stairwell, and the light was extremely dim, making Xiao Min extra careful going down. Yuanzhou looked back and vaguely saw Xiao Min slowly inching down, holding onto the wall, which made them both laugh and sigh inwardly. He sighed and said, "I'll carry you." With that, he took a few steps forward and crouched down. "No need," Xiao Min stood there. "I'm not 70 or 80, get up quickly." Yuanzhou was quite insistent. "It's inconvenient to go down the stairs in high heels." "I'm used to it, please get up," Xiao Min said, bending down to pull him up. Seeing her insistence, Yuanzhou didn't force it and stood up, but he forgot how narrow the space was between the stair flights. As he stood, Xiao Min stepped back a little, lost her footing, and swayed. Yuanzhou swiftly reached out and wrapped his arms around her. She crashed into his embrace. "Did you sprain your ankle?" Yuanzhou asked softly. They were close, their breaths gently intertwining, and in the relatively dim environment, a sudden wave of intimacy arose between them. Xiao Min felt her breath hitch, and she lowered her gaze, saying softly, "I'm fine." She had feelings for Yuanzhou. Precisely because of those feelings, no matter how free-spirited she pretended to be, being this close to him made her heart pound wildly. Her body memory belonged only to him. It naturally accepted his scent and body temperature, and he could easily reawaken her emotions. This was very dangerous. Having made a mistake once, she couldn't make it a second time, especially for something that was destined to be without a future. "Really okay?" Yuanzhou's voice was very low and gentle. Xiao Min nodded slightly, then realized he was holding her quite tightly. Through their clothes, She could feel the warmth of his large hands. "Please let me go first," Xiao Min whispered. The stairwell was too quiet, so quiet that she could hear her own heartbeat. No, perhaps it was both their heartbeats. Pressed against Yuan Zhou, she also felt his heart beating rapidly. She looked up, but unexpectedly, their gazes met. Yuan Zhou didn't release his hold. He just looked at her face in the dim light. Her voice was very small, as if afraid to disturb something. It was just like that night when he undressed her, and she called his name uncontrollably in the same soft, tiny voice. The light in Yuan Zhou's eyes gradually deepened. He looked at her, but his mind was filled with memories of that night. Breathing, moaning, ecstasy, lingering. That night, he was like someone who had been thirsty for a long time, repeatedly exploring and conquering her body. "I just remembered something." Yuan Zhou leaned down, his lips brushing her cheek ever so slightly before sliding to her ear. Xiao Min trembled all over. The man's breath was warm, entering her ear like a hook, pulling at her heart. What? Yuan Zhou's breath carried the fragrant scent of her body, not strong, but subtly alluring. His rationality began to slowly slip away. He pressed closer to her. "That night, we didn't use any protection." Xiao Min felt her heart almost leap from her throat, her breath catching. I was that day," she struggled to say, "safe." She was actually incredibly nervous herself. She had checked, and although it was supposedly her safe period, it wasn't necessarily foolproof, especially for a first time. It was easy to get pregnant. But this kind of thing was hard for her to discuss with anyone. With Yunyan, to tell her, "Your brother and I, it was our first time. Do you think I could be pregnant?" Xiao Min couldn't bring herself to say that. Yuan Zhou subtly lifted his face, looking at her. She took a deep breath, meeting his gaze. "So you don't need to feel burdened." Yuan Zhou's eyes deepened even further. Xiao Min pursed her lips, silent, a faint premonition stirring within her. So, when Yuan Zhou leaned down, she felt her head spin, but her arms instinctively wrapped around his neck. He kissed her. From the initial soft touch to a sudden explosion of emotion, it took only a few short seconds. One of his large hands cupped the back of her head. The other stroked her face, the kiss fierce and passionate. Gradually, it became more tender and lingering.